So Cup Club essentially is a returnable packaging service for drinks, takeaway drinks, which basically means that we supply retailers, businesses, corporates with packaging that consumers or their consumers or customers can take away and return to drop points to be collected, washed and packed and redelivered by us. So it's kind of a system that removes all single-use plastics and replaces it with really beautiful, durable takeaway packaging that lasts much longer, so 132 uses, reduces their waste stream and is far more sustainable.
So what is different about your cups than other cups that are out there?
So we're one of the first businesses to change the course of reusable. So reusable packaging we've all seen, where you buy your own and you take it into a coffee shop. And what we found was the stats for that were very low. There were only 2% of consumers taking in their own reusable cups. So what we thought was really critical was to sort of look at the market and see how we could optimize that and make it more convenient for consumers to be part of this reusable revolution. And so the best way was to actually allow consumers to take away their coffee and be given the packaging at the point of sale, to take it away and then to return it when convenient, as opposed to have to remember to wash it, bring it in, and the ownership all being on them. Actually remove that and make it more convenient. So you actually have a network of retailers that participate, sign up to the club, and then operate that way. And they give them the option when they buy their coffee. They say, do you want to take it away in a single-use disposable, or do you want to take it away with the club?
Which makes so much sense. And as you said, I think you've got a tagline, haven't you, on the website, making it easy to do the right thing. Because, Rosanna, we're all trying, aren't we? But there are those things that do sort of just add that little bit extra that you have to think about normally. But this seems to just take a lot of those sort of elements out of the whole equation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's giving people the responsibility back, but it's also removing kind of, I guess, the ownership of having that packaging with them all day and having to think about washing it and taking it with them in their bags. They can literally just take it, drink and drop. And then we manage everything else. We manage the whole logistical process of everything.
So it's also not adding any extra kind of pressure on the retailers themselves or the restaurants or the coffee shops or whoever is involved. They don't have to really do any extra sort of work themselves.
No, not exactly. There's still some ownership on the retailers. So we'd still, the participating retailers, we still ask them to kind of ask people if they want to use the cup, because there's still other possibilities that they can use their own cups and things like that. So we're not trying to eliminate everything else from the market. But yeah, it's giving them a bit of responsibility as well. So it's not completely eliminating everything that they need to do. So we are looking to get them on board and their kind of backing as well.
And Safia, how has it been received so far then?
So we've launched actually in London. That's where we've kicked off, and we've focused specifically in the workplace. So 25% of consumers drink coffee either at work or in education, closed systems, closed buildings, which has been an incredible launch for us and very successful. And now we're looking at the retail aspect and what that looks like. And that's coming along quite nicely. So that's what has brought us to the Isle of Man, obviously. Very interesting conversations here with retailers in terms of understanding how we can best provide them a product that suits them, that works for them. People are very conscious about the coastal region here because it is a UNESCO biosphere. We're very passionate about eliminating single-use plastics. And I think that just marries really well with some of the businesses here and what they're trying to do around zero waste. So, yeah, lots of plans in the pipeline.
And it's exciting as well to hear that this sort of ties in really nicely on a timeline with, for instance, our government, who have committed to reducing single-use plastics as well. So that sort of all ties in really nicely. Have you been able to speak to the government about this at all then?
Yes, we have. I mean, it's a cross-collaborative system. So with any sort of network initiatives like ours, where you're basically providing a service, you're not just selling a product, we have to get everybody on board. So stakeholders start from government level where they're able to support and help us open the channels to the right people in the retail sectors, but also in the tourism industry. So here, of course, you have fluctuations of people visiting, and then also the retailers. So government has been very supportive because of the initiative that they've just rolled out, and they are looking at different ways of reducing plastics on the island.
And we are, at the end of the day, we are facing, a huge problem at the moment with plastics. So, Rosanna, how much difference do you think this scheme can actually make?
I think it's absolutely necessary, and I think it's the way the world is going. I think this year has kind of highlighted that to a lot of people with Blue Planet, and so many different initiatives that are going on. Obviously, on this island, you've got people like Rowan who are kind of pioneering and going into schools and really teaching. Something that we've really noticed from being here is how the education system here is really kind of targeting the young children. And we've heard so many stories about primary school children going home and kind of telling their parents about how to recycle and how they should be using compostable materials and things like that. So, which is incredible. We've heard some really incredible stories since we've been here.
So we've heard a little bit about what you have been doing here, Safia, but how did you actually find the Isle of Man? How did you end up here in the first place?
Very good question. So I think we were on Sky News, and one of our biggest champions on the island is Chris from Fidelta, and he saw us on Sky News and just gave me a call blindly one day. So I just got a random phone call saying, the Isle of Man is always trying to champion some positive, forward-thinking initiatives like this, and we would love to see what we can do to help. So what we find is we get approached by these very sort of incredible champions who have no particular sort of vested interest, but just are the vehicle for change. So it was quite incredible. That development moved really fast. And obviously through that has brought in a whole network of now retailers who are really excited. So really it was just, it was them reaching out to us to say, hi, we'd love to see something like this become a reality. And for us, it was a perfect brief because we were looking for an incredible kind of retail environment that was sort of contained. Testing something like this immediately in a city like London is very hard to control, and actually bringing it over to the Isle of Man means that you can really understand the dynamics of how people consume. You can speak to the community because they behave more like a tribe and a community because they're all islanders. And you can really understand what the requirements are of the retailers and really listen to them, get their feedback and develop a system like this to then take it globally. So in terms of, I think, from the government's perspective and some of the other stakeholders, it's very exciting because it propels the Isle of Man as well as to this incredible case study where you can bring these incredible new systems and really try them, and it's just such a unique environment for that. So great marriage of, I think, an alignment of interests.
Could Cup Club work with things like soft drinks and everything as well then?
Absolutely. So we always say drinks because it's just the ability to carry both hot and cold. Coffee is, of course, the first, most obvious daily ritual that we do. And for us to explain how a system like this is so easy is to try and embed it in everyone's ritual. So they can understand by example and say, oh, right, okay, if it works for this, then it could totally work for X, Y, and Z.
It could be any packaging, couldn't it? You could sort of
absolutely.
Salads and sandwiches and everything turn up and fill your little bowl and take it away with you.
Correct.
We're starting with cups.
Yes. There's a long road ahead.
Yeah.
And I realise it's very early days as well. You've literally only just landed on the Isle of Man, and I know you've had lots of meetings and there's lots of exciting stuff going on, but any sort of rough idea of when we might see something like this, if it does sort of come off, when we might see this in our own little cafes and restaurants and things on the island?
Very soon, hopefully. So I can't say exactly what's happening. It's all in the pipeline, but we are making some plans to be back here in a few weeks' time. And carry on those discussions and development towards something happening hopefully in the new year. So we'll keep you posted.
Lovely. Safia and Rosanna, thank you so much for being with us. It's great to speak to you. Just let everyone know where they can find out more about Cup Club.
So www.cupclub.com, best place to find all the details about us, the team, and how we can help retailers and businesses. We're really passionate about speaking to people who are also part of this big expedition to remove single-use plastic. So we'd love to hear from you.